Hi guys, it's Dawn from Finding My Light, and I wanted to come on here. I just did a video before that, but I think it's just a little bit too long, so I want to, of course, I have to get it etched as soon as I turn on the camera. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I am sorry I was gone too long, but we're going to explain a little bit what was going on and some good that came out of it. Oh, so let's start with the bad. I got sick about 2 weeks ago, woke up in the middle of the night, went to the bathroom, came back, and I could not get warm. I just could not get warm. I was shaking and shivering and making the noises, and it wasn't any normal. I'm just cold. It was from the inside out. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but it's like your bones just were shaking. And I could not explain it. I felt fine the day before. Everything was fine. And then I woke up and first I worry about diabetes. Okay? And I was like, am I in diabetic shock? But it was more than that. It wasn't just like I saw my mom had a diabetic episode one time and it was scary. And I don't think it was like that. But anyway, what ended up being is I'm quite sure I had the flu because I had the when I get these little spots um when I get a temperature, when I get a very high temperature, I get like little red spots, even though I have rosacea, whatever you want to call it. But I always get these little red spots on me that's how I know I have a fever. And then this is really good from what it was. And I just think I had a high fever. My body was fighting something. And I stayed in bed all day Friday, all day Saturday, almost all day Sunday. And I finally got mad. I felt like I got to get up and get things done. I don't know why. For some reason, I felt guilty. Jason never makes me feel guilty. And I just, wasn't eating, wasn't drinking until he finally made me. He made me order some soup and some stuff. And we ordered that. And just something in my stomach. And it's like, when it's a fat person, you just think, well, I'm fat. I can live off my fat. But reality is, no matter how big you are, you're a human being who needs to eat and drink, no matter what some people think. Some people are mean enough to say, well, you have enough fat on you, live you for a week. You still have to eat, stupid. I hate those remarks. But anyway, I could go on and on about some of the ridiculousness that people say, but it is what it is. I put up with it all my life. But anyway, I was fine. We finally looked up some stuff, and I think that I had the flu. I had all the symptoms of the flu, and I haven't been sick in years like this. I have never been sick where it lasted 2 weeks, and which played a lot on my paranoia and my anxiety, which we'll get into in a minute. First thought, well, maybe I had COVID, but we had COVID. I am almost positive we had COVID even before it started, like the month before it started, and we had all the symptoms. And when our brother-in-law went to the doctors, they said he has some kind of virus. They can't figure out what it is. We know it was COVID, and it was nothing like that. This was just where I was cold, I was exhausted, my body ached, and I usually bounce back from things like 3 days or so. By third day, I'm fine. No, by any the regular flu can last 5 to 7 days. And I know there's another variant of the flu out. And the thing is, I don't even know how I got it. I think it's probably because that one time I went out and got around it, because my immune system is probably bad because I don't get around people enough to build that immune system up. Plus, I slept one night I forgot to shut the window, and I got really like down in the high 50s, low 60s. And so that might have helped too because my face is right next to not next to it, but it's near the window. But, and when you already have a low immune system, just from being unhealthy. But anyway, by day 13, I was getting worried because I was feeling better. I just had no energy. I absolutely had no drive, no energy. I had no appetite. Still, my appetite's finally back, but it's different. Now, I didn't lose my taste. I just didn't have the desire to eat. Nothing sounded good. Nothing I wanted. Um, just didn't have it. It just wasn't there. The instinct. And it was like, that's weird to me. If you are a food addict, that is weird. It's weird not to crave food. I mean, I've gotten better with my food noise, but my food noise was zero. And normally when I get sick, I do lose my appetite for a day, but for 2 weeks, and I just didn't want to eat. I was eating like baby portions. I just was full. I wasn't starving. And yeah. So anyway, long story short, it was horrible. And there was a point, we're going to get into the kind of the downside, but I promise there's an upside. by day like probably 12, and I'm still not. I was feeling better, but I had no energy. I was exhausted, scared. My voice, I didn't have like a real hard cough, but I had like the dry cough that comes with the flu. But it wasn't all the time. I wasn't having any breathing issues other than normal breathing issues, but it wasn't that extra breathing issues that I have when I get sick. And um, and my voice changed a little bit. I don't know if you have if anybody has a lot of experience. I mean, I'm sure some people do, obviously, but if you've ever experienced the last stage of a person's life, ooh, don't cry. They get this weird sounding voice, and I don't know what it's from. If it's the lack of being able to, they don't have a lot of energy, so there's not a lot of sound coming out of the vocal cords. I don't know what it is, but I had that, and it triggered my paranoia and my anxiety. Now, this is something that I've worked very hard to try to change, but it is chemical, and it's something that I have trained my brain probably the way to think too. But it scared me. I thought, am I dying? Am I dying? Maybe it's not the flu. Maybe my body's shutting down. I wasn't in any pain, but I had myself convinced I was dying to the point where I told Jason. But I didn't, about my funeral. I don't want no funeral. I don't want any of that stuff. If you find me dead in the morning, I don't want any funeral. I don't want any of that stuff. If you have paranoia, it's annoying because it just won't leave you alone, and you think of the very worst case scenario. And I was thinking, man, I'm too late. I'm too late. I waited too late to get healthy. And I was regretting. I was like, why didn't I change when I was young? It was horrible for a couple of days. I was in a deep depression, which made me stay in bed. And I finally just realized, I'm a believer in manifestation. I'm a believer in positive thinking, and I believe in energy can be, positive energy, negative energy can affect you and everybody around you and your body. And I just said, you know what? If you can't think like this, you can't continue to think like this, because then it's going to come true. You're going to manifest this, because in my belief is, you manifest what you think the most on. You can, and I believe that if you think that your life is going to be crappy, then your life is going to be crappy. I'm living proof of it. My whole life I played the victim, and not purposely, but just, why does everything happen to me? And I don't ever get a break. And here I am 54, and I still don't feel like I'm getting a break. And I've had to learn to think differently. And I kept telling myself, no, you're not dying. And I promised right then and when you put something out to the universe, I believe that you have to follow through, because otherwise the consequences. And I made a promise, and I know some people say it's God, and I'm one of the believe you can believe any way you want. I believe whatever helps you get through this life and brings you peace and comfort, that's what you should do. I'm not a Christian. I'm not saying I'm not a Christian, but I don't believe the way Christians believe. I'm more spiritual than I am religious. But I do believe that there's something afterwards. I know there's something after life. And I'll talk about that another time, because I've had way too many experiences, especially with my mom. So I know that there's something. I don't know what. No one really 100% knows. Even if you want to say you know, you don't know for sure 100%. It all has to go on your faith, no matter what you believe. Stay with me with my spiritual. But anyway, I don't want to get a kick, because I just believe everybody should worship the way they want to worship. But anyway, I made a promise to the universe. I said, please help me get over this type of thinking. If I survive this, I promise you, I will put every single effort I can into truly healing my body, and not just half-assing it. And not that I was purposely half-assing it, but I was not fighting as hard as I know I could. I was giving into little binges here and there too much. Am I going to be perfect at this? Absolutely not, because I'm a human being and we're not perfect. But here's the thing that I've noticed. Here's the good side. As I was going through this, now, when you are a food addict, this is my experience only. For me, I was taught to use food for emotional regulation. I was taught to use food to regulate my feelings and to comfort me. That is a learned habit. Any habit can be learned and unlearned. So you have to practice mindful eating. You have to practice not binging. You have to practice and be diligent. And um, I think with the 2 weeks and what it's taught me, it gave me a head start. So in some ways, the universe has answered my quote unquote prayers, because like I just want to be able to see food as regular, and not think that I have to binge on it, that it's just to regulate myself to feel happy. And I think because I was so sick and my appetite changed, that it gave me the practice that I needed without realizing I was practicing it, without it feeling like torture, because I just didn't have the appetite. So it helped change my brain a little bit in the way it thinks. Because now that I'm feeling better and I have appetite, I get hungry, um, I very easily stop at a portion control now, and even had like those little candy sized Snickers that I put on top of my yogurt and chocolate. I love this thing called Fluff, where you use yogurt and Cool Whip and pudding mix, and you can put like granola, protein granola on top. But I saw somebody who did this with, they take a snack size candy, what they like, and they chop it up and they put it in there for like a little treat. And even if it's yogurt, you can put it in the freezer. I don't like it like that. I just like it when it gets thicker. That's all. But anyway, I can have that now and have the package in the house, and I'm not thinking about it being there. I just go and grab one, and it's such a weird way for me. But I think that it's helped me change the way I look at food, because it's like, even though I know logically, yeah, I can have it, it'll be there tomorrow, I'll be there tomorrow, the next day. But I wasn't the kind of person that I'm an all or nothing type person. So when I have like a bag of chips, I want a bag of chips. I don't want just a portion. And it's not that I don't want it, it's just my brain requ- almost required me to eat the whole thing, or it wouldn't shut up. And so I would appease it because it's spoiled, and I spoiled it. I think I've unlearned all that. And I'm not going to say I'm going to be perfect at it. No one's perfect. But you can't eat like that, even once a week or twice a week, and expect, even sure, I could lose weight on it because I'm staying in a calorie deficit, but it's still not healthy for what's going on inside my body. It's still causing damage, even if I'm losing weight. So now I can have foods that feed my brain and food that feeds my body, and not overindulge the brain side of the food. And it's weird. It's weird to me. It's like, is this how normal people think? Because that food noise is not there, still not there. I may think real quick, like, ooh, I could go for a bag of chips, but like, no, no, no. What's more important to you? Getting your body in health, because you survive this. I want a life, and this has shown me that I want a life. I don't want to go on and on about it, but it definitely has helped kickstart my healing, my learning, untraining the bad thinking, and training the portion control, and realizing, enjoy what you have, and then you'll be able to enjoy it again the next day. And that's something that I look forward to. It's just a different feeling. Food noise is very, very quiet right now, and I am enjoying foods that I love. I'm also enjoying foods that I know that are doing good for my body. It's weird. Um, Being on a budget is really hard to do, but I don't listen to outside voices anymore. I buy what I can afford, and I put the good stuff with it that I can. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's why I've been missing for so long. I'm going to try to get back into this. I'm not making any promises. I think that's too much. I will come on and do videos as I feel inspired to. I'm going to start trying to do TikToks more and YouTube shorts more, because they're a little bit easier for me to do. So look forward towards those. And I will come on at least once a week to do this type of video. And yeah, thanks everybody for putting up with me. For those of you who put up with me. Um, I'm just grateful for those who I've supported, that continue to support me. It really helps me. You have no idea how much it helps me. So, yeah, just gonna keep moving forward. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Sorry this is a little bit long, but I wanted to explain what's going on. That just super, super sick, and how out of it came something good. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.